Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day.
Have you been working hard on your goals and your lifelong dream? Maybe you're just getting started, but maybe you've been working at it hot and heavy for a while. At some point, maybe lately and maybe not yet, or maybe you found a way to move past it, you hit a lull, a point in which you feel like nothing you do is making a difference. The wind seems to have fallen out of your sails. You feel like all the work you've done up to a point isn't yielding results, and you struggle with new ideas, possibly with a fear of losing steam from the progress you've already made. Well, I'm here to encourage you to take heart. I'm also here to encourage you to not do anything hasty and not make knee-jerk decisions just because you suddenly feel like you're coasting. If you were at sea in a sailing ship and hit the doldrums, there is no way to gather up wind in a still climate. I'm in a similar spot myself right now, but I'm not worried. A lot of people in a similar situation might be worried, but I'm not. For one thing, I believe 100% what I say at the end of every podcast, which is that the universe always has my back. That's not just a thing I say because it sounds cool and motivational. It's a fact that I've learned. When I was in the Air Force, there was this older gentleman in our plumbing shop that I really liked a lot. We worked together on a lot of projects. He knew a lot of the mistakes I made as a young airman, but he also saw how things worked out. He told me one day, with a look of amazement on his face, that I could fall in a barrel of, stuff. We'll just keep this family friendly, and come out smelling like a rose. That really isn't true, but I share that to say that in my life I've fallen flat on my face a great many times. I've lost everything more than once. I've managed every time to find a way forward and to build on a solid foundation that can never be taken away. You can never lose who you are unless you give that away. Be honest with yourself, true to yourself, and trust in yourself. And nothing that happens in this life can take that. It has taken me a long time to learn that last one, though, because I have so often second-guessed my decisions. What I have discovered about moving forward toward dreams and goals is that relentless intent is more manageable when the playing field is kept simple. Maybe it's because of my ADHD, but I don't think that's entirely it. My life is much simpler now than at other times when I've made big transitions, and I have also learned a lot about relentless intent. Even if you were at sea in a sailing ship, and the wind suddenly fell out of the sails, and you sat on water as smooth as glass, it would be wise to not lose hope. It would be wise to sit with positive expectancy. It would be wise to keep the sails ready to receive wind as you wait on it, with your vessel always pointed in the direction you want to go. You see, that's a huge thing about relentless intent, where I think a lot of people make mistakes. It's not called relentless effort. It's called relentless intent. Because the intent, even with no apparent activity, is still relentless. We lose focus from the creative pursuit and start watching metrics like sales figures, attendance, ad impressions, clicks per day, website visits, social media post likes and shares, and things like that. If those drop or level off, we start to get a little panicky. If they tank, we freak out. We might start making poor decisions, only for the purpose of getting the metrics back where they were, but at that point, we've lost track of what got those metrics there in the first place, which was the creative pursuit and relentless intent toward our dreams and goals. None of those knee-jerk decisions are focused on that. They're just focused on making everything look like it's okay again. We are relentlessly intending to realize our goals and dreams, not relentlessly generating activity around things we've already created. We need to get where we are okay, sitting in the doldrums, waiting on wind. We can find a lot of old sailing stories where sailors went crazy and showed a poor example of humanity when sitting in the doldrums. The old poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge being one of them. Sailors would go insane. They would blame someone on the ship for their bad luck. They would look to signs in the stars or come up with some other superstitious reason for the wind being gone. They would panic about food rations not lasting, and we don't know exactly how many crews may have been lost over the centuries from that very thing causing ships to be lost at sea. We can't let any of those kinds of things happen to us when we experience the doldrums in pursuing our goals and dreams, and we need to understand that lulls are natural. I know for myself, the wind falls out of my sails at times if I get tired, or if I lose that spark of fascination with a project, or if I get too absorbed in watching metrics and forget new creative layers to add to a project, or if I press forward too heavily for too long, being completely relentless without taking a break and renewing my mind and my spirit. That will make you a busy Baxon. Refer back to podcast number 60 on July 18. Spiking the metrics won't be enough to put the wind back in the sails. It might cause a slight breeze that feels better, but at times, it's better to just wait on the wind. I think, at least for me, these are the times when we disconnect from owning the doldrums and just need to experience them. Make it a Zen moment. Simply observe and think, I am at a point where nothing is happening. Maybe nothing is happening in me. I don't freak out. I don't panic. If there is no wind, then it's a great time to go inward and reflect, because not so much is demanding my attention anyway. It's a time to pause, meditate, and pray, but not for God to fix it, because nothing needs to be fixed. It just is, and you are simply how you are. I look at what I've written down for my dreams, and that's exactly why you need to write down your dream or dreams. I remind myself to keep myself pointed in that direction, so that when the wind picks back up, I'll be headed toward where I want to go. I look at my goals. Those are my sails, the rigging, the rudder, and I ask myself if I believe those will still move me toward my dreams. I make changes if needed, again making sure they are written down and I keep them ready. Then I do nothing. I've gotten very good at doing nothing, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing something. I do things that are life-giving and renewing for me. A hot bath, working in my yard, working out on my elliptical, painting, woodworking, playing with my dogs, holding the love of my life for extended periods of time, playing my guitar and learning new music, sitting in my backyard or looking out the window if it's cold, and just gazing into the trees and watching birds and squirrels. That's how I do me. You do you. See? That's doing something when you're doing nothing. I let the universe recreate me into a slightly newer me as I wait on the wind, so that when it picks back up, I am ready. I am renewed. I am poised in the right direction with the right tools to move me forward, and off I go for the next phase of the journey. That's how I believe we should do life without overdoing life. And remember, while you are waiting on wind, that all of creation is still conspiring in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back, and the wind will fill your sails to their limit. Lao Tzu said, "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders."
Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.